Be the stone, not the water. My grandmother said that before everything fell apart. I used to think it was just another old person quote, the kind of thing you'd see on Facebook with a sunset background. Nice words. Nothing more. Then life hit me like a freight train. 3 years ago, I was in my mid-20s. Good job. Nice apartment. A man I thought I was going to marry. A future that seemed completely planned out. I wasn't rich. I wasn't famous. But I was happy. Then everything collapsed. Fast. Within 2 months, I lost almost everything I thought defined me. It started with work. The company announced restructuring. Everyone was nervous. I wasn't. My performance was excellent. My manager constantly praised me. I thought I was safe. Then one Monday morning, I received a calendar invite. Private meeting. 10 minutes later, I was unemployed. Just like that. I remember carrying a cardboard box to my car and thinking, this can't be real. I had bills, responsibilities, plans. How was I supposed to explain this to everyone? But life wasn't finished with me. Not even close. 3 weeks later, the man I'd spent 4 years building a future with sat me down. The moment he said, "We need to talk," my stomach dropped. You know that feeling. The one where your heart somehow knows the ending before your brain catches up. He said he wasn't happy. He said he felt trapped. He said he needed to find himself. I wanted to scream. Instead, I sat there quietly while the future I'd imagined disappeared. Sentence by sentence. When he left, the apartment felt enormous. Not because it was big, because it was empty. I cried myself to sleep that night. Then the next night, and the one after that, I stopped answering calls. Stopped going out. Stopped believing things would get better. Then my mother called. My grandmother had suffered a stroke. The doctors weren't sure she'd recover. I drove 6 hours to the hospital the same day. I barely remember the journey. My mind was drowning in fear. When I finally arrived, she looked so small lying in that hospital bed. This was the woman who had always seemed indestructible. The woman who raised half the family. The woman everyone turned to during a crisis. Yet there she was. Weak, fragile, human. When she saw me, she smiled. Then immediately asked, "Why are you carrying so much weight?" I laughed through tears. Because she was right. I was carrying all of it. The job loss, the heartbreak, the disappointment, the fear, the anger, the loneliness, everything. I sat beside her and told her the whole story. For nearly half an hour, she listened quietly, never interrupting, never judging. When I finally finished, she looked out the hospital window. A storm was raging outside. Rain hammered the glass. Wind bent the trees. Water rushed across the parking lot. Then she pointed. Near the edge of the lot was a large stone. The storm was attacking it from every direction. Rain, wind, water. Yet it never moved. Not even slightly. Then she looked at me and said, "Be the stone, not the water." Honestly, I was disappointed. I thought some life-changing wisdom was coming. I had lost my career, lost my relationship, might lose my grandmother, and her advice sounded like a fortune cookie. But then she continued, "The water reacts to everything. It rushes wherever life pushes it. It changes direction every second. It fights every obstacle it meets." Then she pointed back at the stone. "But the stone knows who it is. It doesn't chase. Don't panic. It doesn't abandon itself because a storm arrived. It simply remains." I didn't fully understand then. A few days later, she passed away. Those words became the last lesson she ever gave me. At first, nothing changed. I was still unemployed, still heartbroken, still scared, still lost. But whenever panic started taking over, I remembered the stone. Every rejection email. Stone. Every lonely weekend. Stone. Every moment I felt like giving up. Stone. Instead of obsessing over what I'd lost, I focused on what I still controlled. One day, one application, one interview, one step forward, then another, then another. Months passed. I found a new job, a better one. I rebuilt my confidence. I made new friends. I discovered parts of myself I'd ignored for years. Most importantly, I learned how to stand on my own. Not because life became easier, because I became stronger. 2 years later, I met someone unexpected, someone kind, someone patient, someone who didn't need me to become someone else before loving me. For the first time, I understood the difference between being chosen and being valued. Today I'm happy, not because my life is perfect. Far from it. Storms still come. Unexpected problems. Financial stress. Loss. Fear. Chaos. Life never stops testing you. But now I understand what my grandmother meant. Strength isn't controlling the storm. Strength is refusing to let the storm control you. Last month I visited her grave. Rain was falling heavily. Most people would have stayed in their cars. I didn't. As I stood there, I noticed a large gray rock beside her headstone. Water flowed around it from every direction, yet it remained exactly where it was. For a moment, I just smiled, because suddenly I understood. The heartbreak passed. The unemployment ended. The fear faded. The storm moved on. Every single thing that once felt permanent eventually left. Everything except the woman I became while surviving it. And that's when I finally understood her lesson. Be the stone, not the water. Let the chaos of life rush around you while you remain grounded, steady and unshaken. Storms may come and go, but your strength lies in standing firm when everything else is in motion.